Welcome to our discussion on the glass architecture and the collapse of public digital spaces. It's, quite the deep dive into how our online lives are shifting, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. It's like, our digital existence is being restructured, right?
Exactly. And the talk here is, about this structure, the collapse of context, where different audiences merge into one gigantic digital room. It's
Mm-hmm.
almost like we're constantly performing for every person simultaneously.
Mm-hmm. And that reminds me, doesn't this whole idea build on Irving Goffman's notion of audience segregation?
Right on. Goffman argued that we wear different masks for different audiences, our boss, friends, family. But with digital spaces today, that segregation is gone. Instead, we face what's called context collapse.
Yeah, and isn't that what leads to so much anxiety, like the fear of showing the wrong face to a mixed audience?
Absolutely. There's this overwhelming cognitive load. The simple act of hitting the publish button has become a performance of its own. It's like, every post is a risk of a cascade of embarrassment or even digital withdrawal.
Yeah. Wow, that's intense. And it's interesting how this ties into the social media exodus we're witnessing. Usage peaked around 2021, 2022, but now it's in a global decline, right?
Precisely. The data shows about a -10 to the power of 0 drop in user engagement by 2025 compared to 2023. With an increasing number of users, especially among Gen Z, opting for the posting zero strategy, it's clear that the public sharing era is, pretty much over.
Mm-hmm. That posting zero idea really challenges the old norm of constant self promotion. So, in essence, people are retreating from that public performative space.
Yes, exactly. It's like we've collectively hit a burnout. The feed has lost its social vibe. Personal content is drowned out by sponsored commerce and bot activity. We're in an era where the public square just dies off.
Right, and that leads us straight into the discussion of digital agency. We're not just talking about posts, but who controls our online narrative.
Yup. And here's where it gets even more interesting. The emergence of language model agents, or LMAs. These, are autonomous systems that plan and execute tasks. But if the platforms control them, they become more about surveillance than, enhancing user autonomy.
Yeah. Hold on a minute. Aren't these LMAs supposed to streamline our digital experience? It sounds like a double edged sword.
Exactly, and that's the point. While LMAs can theoretically ease operations, if left in the hands of big platforms like Meta or Google, they become self-interested digital concierges. They inherit the toxic traits of context collapse, hypersurveillance, algorithmic manipulation, and a total lock-in that strips us of control.
So, if I'm getting this right, if these agents continue by default, we risk entering an era of complete digital subjugation.
That's the danger. The current architecture of the internet, with its walled gardens and top-down control, is pushing us towards that very scenario.
Then what's the alternative? I mean, is there a way to restore some user autonomy and protect us from these invasive practices?
Great question. The proposed solution is to build what's called an agent advocate. This advocate functions solely in the user's interest, protecting our privacy, managing our contextual boundaries, and, basically being our digital fiduciary.
So the idea is to shift from platform controlled agents to ones that actively defend our digital agency.
Exactly. Think of it like this. Instead of being trapped in pre-fashioned silos with heavy switching costs and bundle features, agent advocates restore an open interoperability. They essentially act as a personal gatekeeper, ensuring that the blur of mixed audiences is, re-established into manageable segments.
Right. That sounds like a brilliant pivot, a way to break free from the algorithmic manipulation of sponsored content and constant notifications, right?
Yes, indeed. It's about shifting from an attention economy, where your data is used to manipulate you, to an intimacy economy that respects user-defined filtering and cognitive autonomy.
I see, but isn't that goal a bit overly optimistic? I mean, building such federated user first benefits is challenging with all these entrenched interests.
That's a fair point. It's not an overnight fix. But what's crucial is that we recognize our digital burnout is a direct result of collapsed contexts and misaligned platform incentives. If we design our infrastructure around agent advocates, we can rebuild, manage, and even preempt these context collisions.
So it sounds like we need a systemic rethinking of how our online experience is architected, moving from centralized invasive surveillance clouds to systems that allow local processing or encrypted private clouds.
Exactly. It's about decentralizing control. Picture it as a transition from walled gardens to a decentralized agent economy where market power returns to the users.
And that would mean lower switching costs and, well, genuine digital freedom, right?
Exactly. Your online feed becomes, a reflection of your own choices rather than something curated solely by corporate interests. It's like reclaiming the right to define your digital identity without the pressure of a never-ending audience collision.
Yeah, fascinating. But do you think the current generation, especially Gen Z, who pioneered the posting zero mode, will lead this charge?
They definitely seem to be, with over 475 voices early on expressing a desire to exit the overwhelming social media landscape. This movement is really a wake-up call, a warning sign that our public performance mode is outdated.
And that gets us back to the heart of the glass architecture concept. Our digital selves are too exposed, too intertwined with a system that wasn't built to support individuality.
Exactly, we're trapped by a design that forces complete uniformity, a lowest common denominator approach that leaves many of us in a state of fatigue and defensive withdrawal.
So, in summary, the future trajectories are clear. Either continue down the path of invasive platform agents or pivot to a model where agent advocates restore true digital agency.
Precisely, and this isn't just technical, it's a sociological shift. Our online experience, our cognitive load when publishing, even our sense of self, depends on building and mandating systems that protect us.
I like that. And it reminds me that our digital sanity is at stake here. If we don't reestablish these boundaries, we risk leaving a legacy of permanent digital burnout.
Exactly, agency is not a default setting, it's something we must fight for. We have to reclaim ownership, reintroduce audience segregation, and ensure that our digital encounters are safe and, truly in our hands.
Right. Thanks for this engaging conversation. It's a lot to digest, but it certainly paints a vision for a more balanced digital future, one where finally our online space belongs to us.
Absolutely. Here's to a future where the architecture of our digital world is designed to protect, empower, and truly reflect our diverse identities.
Great chat. Looking forward to seeing how these ideas shape up in the years to come.